We've got a gift for you here today. We've got a very extraordinary guest. Now, she's so extraordinary that we felt that she didn't need to share the limelight with anyone else. Presenting radio programs for over 30 years, she's mostly recognized for her inspiring poetry, conversations and du'as during Ramadan. Makes each fast we keep as special as the next. Memorizing our engaging listeners, please welcome to our show, it's an honor and a privilege, of course, to have the radio star, Maher Khan. Assalamu alaikum.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers.
Wa alaikum assalam.
It is a pleasure and honor to be here at Islam Channel, and thank you very much for inviting me.
No, it's a pleasure. And that's the voice I've been missing. This is the voice that I've grown up listening to for the last 30-odd years now. As a wee little nipper, I say a wee little nipper, I was about 10.
I can't imagine that.
I know, can you imagine?
Than you are.
No, but this is secret, because I remember growing up in my house, so whether it was suhoor or iftar time, we're there as a family, and your family's together, the radio's on in the background, and it was Sister Meher's voice that we used to listen to. So it's a voice for us which is synonymous with Ramadan, and great to have you here for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So of course, you've been on the radio for 30 years.
29 years.
29 years.
This is the 30th year.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm not on the radio this year.
I know. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible.
Why is that? Why is it that we're not going to be hearing your voice on radio this year?
It's rather personal, but I always like live show. I cannot do a recorded show. It has to be live, and integral part of my show are the recitation of Holy Quran and recitation of Durood.
Yeah.
Unless they are there, I can't do the show. My dua is not complete, because before the dua, I put the recitation of Holy Quran, then I put Durood, and then I do my dua. And when I do my dua, it's like I'm talking to my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly.
Yeah.
I don't know what is around me. I am lost from the world.
Yeah.
My connection is direct with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also, I also feel that my listeners are there with me.
Yeah.
And with the live show, I can, when I make my dua, my listeners say Ameen. And there are thousands and thousands of listeners all around the world.
Yeah.
I do not know who is that pious one who is saying Ameen, and his Ameen is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by that we are all saved. So it's very, very special for me. Ramadan is very special for me, like for all of us.
Yes.
But doing the program, it's a hard work, as you know. Coming to the studio from my home, which I live about 2 hours away from the studio, the last studio where I was working, last radio station. And, okay, I'll tell you, I live in Brighton.
Yeah.
And the radio station was in Canary Wharf. So I used to travel there.
2-hour journey every day.
2 hours journey, and sometimes it could be 3 hours, because you never know the road conditions.
Of course, of course.
So I used to leave home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and do my asr on the way. And then when I get to the studio, if I'm lucky and I get there early, I just stay there, and then I do my iftar program.
Yeah.
After iftar, I stay back in the radio station till sahar.
Right, right.
As you know, nowadays, there's not much gap between iftar program and sahar program. We are into this long rozas, 18 hours. So there's not much time. After iftar, I do my isha over there, and then I do my sehri program, finish at about 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And then that was last year's. And then I go back to Brighton. And I reach home by 5:30, because going back was not much problem, because the roads are clear at that time of the...
Well, see, you're that kind of pioneer, because, of course, we have to now do that here on Islam Channel. We're here with our appeals from Maghrib all the way to Fajr.
Yes.
But this is something that you've been doing, like, say, 29 years now, mashallah. So it's kind of sowed those seeds for people like us who now kind of, do the
pioneers.
The pioneers, absolutely.
Thank you.
Would you tell us a little bit about how you got started in radio?
Sunrise Radio was the first radio I started in. Some 30 years ago, when the radio started, I was a news reader then.
Right.
So I started with Hindustani news, as they said at that time. And then I got different programs. So I was doing all the musical programs. And the first year, the Ramadan came, and it was my heart's desire to have the live radio program for Ramadan and Azan. There was no other radio station. Sunrise Radio was the first Asian radio station, and it was very, very popular. It gained popularity very quickly because it is a pioneer. It was novelty at that time. Nobody has heard about Asian radio. So it was my heart's desire that I should start a Ramadan program and also this azan. So, but the radio station, of course, it was a commercial radio. They wanted a sponsorship for that. So I had a colleague over there. I used to work, I still work for London Borough of Harrow.
Right.
Yeah. So there was a colleague with me, Asma Sutarwala.
Right.
So I said, Asma, we were just talking like friends, and I said, Asma, it's Ramadan is coming, and I want azan on the radio and Ramadan programs for Waqt Sahar and Waqt Iftar. But it's a commercial radio, they would want a sponsorship. She said, leave it to me. My husband will call you in the evening, and let's see, inshallah, we can do something. It was TRS Sutarwala group of companies. So Asma spoke to her husband, Hatim Sutarwala, and he called me and said, Maher, it is done. I have already spoken to Sunrise Radio and the sales, and your sponsorship is done. I said, but how?
That's very quick.
Asma, it is amazing. And I said, Asma just works with me. I didn't know she was such a rich person. Such a down-to-earth family though. So I said, oh, Alhamdulillah. Actually, it is Allah's blessing.
Absolutely.
You see, Allah He gets His work done in a mysterious way.
And when you make dua and you have the that real desire and need,
the intention, it was my intention and my dua.
Did you ever think that, when you started this and you thought, look, we need this Sehri program and a Waqt Iftar type program, did you ever think that it'd go so wide and so many people would be listening to it? It literally was in every household that you're reaching.
From the very first year, it has gained the popularity. And then people, it became my Ramadan family then. Because wherever I go, people follow me. And this year, when I'm not doing the show, I'm getting a lot of calls. On the radio as well, they are receiving calls, and on the social network, like Facebook and Twitter handle and WhatsApp. Maher Khan, where are you? We are missing you. Ramadan is not Ramadan for us without you.
Agreed.
Please come back. And I felt so bad. Actually, as I said to you, unless I can do a live show, unless there is a recitation and the durood, recitation of Holy Quran and the durood in it, I will not feel satisfied in doing the show. So I was feeling bad. I must do something. What shall I do? And my fans suggested, why don't I go on social network? Why don't I do a Facebook page? So I said, inshallah. So I have now created a Facebook page, Maher Khan's Waqt Dua.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
And inshallah, I'll be starting my live program for Waqt Sahar and Waqt Iftar.
This is the beauty of technology as well, as we were speaking of, because now you don't really even need a studio anymore. You can do anything, and you've got all the technology in your pocket, where you can do everything from your own home, from your own bedroom.
Even the radio people, the youngsters, and even our grandmothers and mothers, they are used to this Facebook and Twitter handle and everything. And people listen to radio even on the apps and on the websites. So
because imagine this is the unique thing about your show, I imagine, right? Because you've got such a diverse range of listeners. You've got, again, it's a show in Urdu, primarily in Urdu. So any other Urdu show, whether it's on TV or radio, my mum and dad will listen to. I won't. But when it comes to your show, the Sehri show and the Iftar show, I would listen to it, my kids will listen to it, and I think you've got this diverse range of an elder generation and a huge burgeoning young generation who are also tuning in. Why do you think that is?
I'm doing this show for 29 years. So in the first few years, the children were listening with their parents and grandparents. And now those children have grown up and they have got their children of their own. So now they are listening to me with their children. And also they have this memory of me and their Ramadan earlier with their parents and grandparents. Maybe they have passed away now. And they have got very special memories. So they are reviving it. Reminiscing all those
that's
times.
Very good. But I have to admit, I think that for me becomes the cornerstone of Ramadan. It was having Sehri and Iftar at home I mean, grandparents are no longer here now. God rest their soul and give them the highest of Jannah, inshallah. But we'd be there together, mum's cooking. And again, when you're saying, I'm listening to you talking about people saying Ameen collectively, I remember hearing my mum in the kitchen. Du'as are going, my mum would be saying Ameen, Ameen, Summa Ameen. It was brilliant. So that, when, you know, and even though we've got Islam Channel now, I still habitually would put on the radio in the background, just because it brings back this memory from a childhood.
Takes you back to that time where you were with family. Simpler times.
Easier
times, subhanAllah.
And one year I left Sunrise to go to Club Asia. It was a youth radio station.
Right.
And they had all English programs. It was especially for youth, and nobody could ever imagine that there will be a Ramadan program over there. But there were these two directors of that radio, Maher and Sumaira. I got a call from them. I hear you're not doing the radio. Yes, I'm not. Oh, can you come and do it for us on Club Asia? I said, but Club Asia, it hasn't got that brand to do religious programs. They say, but no, you are a legend. We would, Alhamdulillah. I'm really, really grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's nothing for me, you know, it's not me. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings.
Absolutely.
And that they said, no, you have to do it. And that's where I got my youth listeners. I got them because all these people who never, you know, some people were very away from faith, you know, by peer pressure and things like that, they came back to faith. Alhamdulillah.
What would you say is perhaps your fondest memories of the last 29 years? Is there anything that stands out for you?
Yes, it's a very, very special thing for me. There was a sponsor of our program, Malik Law Associates. And Dr. Malik one day called me and said that, Maher, I've got a special news for you. I said, yeah. He said, I've got a letter over here from a person who was of a different faith. And he was listening to a music program, and suddenly your Ramadan program came on, and you were talking about Islam and different things. And he was so impressed that he accepted Islam. And he has sent his gratitude to you, and I want to convey it to you. And I said, Alhamdulillah. And now that person is an imam in Woking Mosque.
Oh, subhanAllah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Imagine the ajr. Imagine from
I do not know now. When I say now, was a few years back when I got some communication from him that he's in Woking.
It's amazing because he's gone on now to become a scholar himself and to become knowledgeable. He's now passing that to others, and inshallah you'll be getting the ajr of that
Alhamdulillah. I'm just praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all the efforts which I have been putting into it for past 29 years, and especially for my listeners. From my bottom of my heart, I was really touched when my listeners came back to me and said, no, Ramadan is not Ramadan without you. Please come back. And the love and affection I'm getting from them for the love of Allah. This is not for any worldly pleasure or anything. It's just purely for the love of Allah that they're loving me. They have got their fond memories. Their children have grown up with me. So I'm really making dua for all of them. Please, Allah bless them all. Ameen. And may our love stays like this forever.
And what is beautiful also is that you're receiving dua, people making dua for you.
Absolutely.
From people who've never met you before but heard your voice.
Alhamdulillah.
And imagine how many, inshallah, generations of dua you'll still be receiving after that.
Although my targeted audience was London, because the radio station is London, and I always followed Islamic Cultural Centre's timetable for namaz and also for salah time, and also for suhoor and iftar time, the imsak time and iftar time. I follow Islamic Cultural Centre, and I give them out the London time, but my listeners are spread throughout the world. So their time zones are different. So that's why every time I say that these are London timings, you know, when I give out the time for suhoor and iftar, that these are London timings, but please check with your local mosque if you are tuned in from outside the area, London area.
Now, you've been broadcasting now for the past 30 years. It's almost a pioneer when it comes to kind of Islamic broadcasting. If we look at the initial iftar and some program. Did you ever see this change? Now you've got got things like Islam Channel. There's a lot more broadcasting, which is Islamic type broadcasting, which is taking place in the UK. Did you ever envisage this when you started off 30 years ago?
No, not at all. But alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah that it has flourished.
Yeah.
We have got so many channels, and every channel is doing a good job. Like Islam Channel, I love Islam Channel. I'll be listening to Islam Channel
Who's your
all the
favourite
time.
presenter?
No, come on.
No, come on, can't do that. I know.
The service which Islam Channel. In fact, when I go to Regent's Park Mosque, Islamic Cultural Center, and there was a lady, the secretary, and said, "It's only you from Sunrise." At that time, I was in Sunrise Radio.
Yeah.
It's only you in Sunrise Radio, and from Islam Channel, they come to me and they are very particular about the timings, you know, about when the Ramadan is starting, because those are the times where everybody is glued to radio because they want announcements.
Exciting.
Because they're spread throughout the world, and people who are living in remote areas where there are hardly any masjids. Right?
Yes,
What is their connection? Their connection is only radio, because they listen to the radio programs, and that's where they know whether the Ramadan is started or whether the Ramadan is ended and is Eid. So when I announce on the radio, I always announce on the 29th day of Ramadan, whether the moon is sighted for Shawwal or not, and whether there's a Eid or not. And again, unfortunately, we have got different Eids at different times. People would say that we have not seen the moon, we will not celebrate the Eid. And I always make this dua, may Allah give us unity, and we all celebrate Eid on one day. It's so disheartening, because when you go to your work, when I go to my work and I say, okay, Ramadan is started, I want my leave. And the other person says, no, Ramadan is not started for me from tomorrow. I don't want leave.
It's strange, isn't it? Because you just look so fragmented and disunited.
It's been an absolute honour and privilege to have you here today.
Thank you
we unfortunately come to the end of our show. But before we leave, if people, obviously, you know, I know I've been missing you this Ramadan. I know there's a lot of viewers who've been missing you. If we want to follow your work moving forward, I know you're saying there's a Facebook page that you may have. Where can we go, and what can we look forward to in the future if we want to keep in touch and keep listening to your good self?
Inshallah, as I said, I'll be presenting live shows, Waqt Sahar and Waqt Iftar, if I get through the technology, because I'm not a technical person, but I have created a fan page because of my listeners. You know, my listeners have been calling me, and on the social network, they have been insisting that I come on air somehow. So I said, okay, I'm not technical person, but I'll create a fan page, and that is Maher Khan's Waqt Dua. That's the fan page. I'm hoping to go live soon. So as soon as the technical problems is sorted, I'll go live.
We need to find a technical person and get this fixed ASAP.
Please do. If anybody is listening and they are technical, please help me.
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. It's all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessing. I'm always making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless everyone. And this Maher Ramadan Mubarak becomes successful for everybody. And everybody gets forgiven for all the sins they may have committed. Ameen.
Jazakallah khair. It's an absolute honour and a privilege.
It has been, yes. Wonderful. Jazakallah khair. Wow, I'm not sure if we can really top that.
I know. For me, it was a personal highlight, because this is a childhood role model for myself. I say someone I've been listening to ever since I was a
Sadly, broadcast, we didn't get it all the way in Southend.
I know, we didn't get it in Southend.
We barely got electricity.